BOPCH, and the CHP is also assisting on those checkpoints and supporting our overall crime suppression efforts. The LAPD continues to maintain a crime suppression detail in the Palisades along with CHP to ensure public safety. We urge those, however, that do not reside in that area to please stay out as we work towards a safe and structured reopening. I'd like to talk about yesterday's immigration protest that we all saw probably on TV and we handled in person. On Sunday, February 2nd, we had approximately 3,000 demonstrators that gathered downtown for a protest regarding immigration. Throughout that day, a group periodically splintered into smaller fractions, moving through the Civic Center and surrounding streets before reconvening in front of City Hall. Vehicle convoys also participated with drivers waving flags and circling the area. At about 12 p.m. on that day, a large group entered the 101 freeway and the California Highway Patrol was notified and responded. While many protesters returned to City Hall, others remained at key intersections, and approximately 300 demonstrators stayed on the freeway while another 600 gathered on adjacent sidewalks and overpasses. The LAPD coordinated with CHP to clear the freeways and deploying officers to redirect the groups. Protesters splintered again, and then some occupying the 6th Street Bridge and others returned to City Hall. At approximately 5:20 p.m., CHP officers initiated a help call after being struck by thrown objects, and an unlawful assembly was declared. LAPD deployed a mobile field force to clear the area, and following dispersal, a smaller group reassembled, at Cesar Chavez Avenue and Alameda Street, requiring a second mobile field force deployment. The crowd was eventually dispersed without further escalation. Instant summary from that event was we had 5 officers sustain minor injuries. We had, as far as use of force, we had 3 rounds of 37 millimeter and 5 rounds of 40 millimeter that were deployed on the crowd. And we had some arrests. We had 1 felony vandalism arrest for damage to an MTA bus. We had 1 arrest for assault with a deadly weapon when this person threw objects at officers. We had 4 vandalism reports for police officer vehicle damage, which included slashed tires. And we had 1 crime report for pointing a laser at officers. So now fast forwarding to yesterday's event, yesterday's protest. At approximately 9 a.m., a group began gathering in front of City Hall to protest regarding immigration. And by 10:15, the group initiated a march with approximately 600 demonstrators. At approximately 12:25 hours, members of the marching group began vandalizing property and spray paint along Figueroa Street between Temple Street and Cesar Chavez Avenue. As the group continued towards City Hall, splinter groups began breaking away, and by 1:10 p.m., the group size had increased to approximately 800 pedestrians and 200 vehicles. Some individuals climbed freeway signs at LA Street and the 101 freeway, prompting grave safety concerns, as you might imagine. By 2:15 p.m., demonstrators had breached the barriers at City Hall and continued to vandalize the area. Half an hour later at 14:45 or 2:45 p.m., protesters began conducting vehicle burnouts and setting off fireworks along Spring Street between First Street and Temple Street. That crowd size had grown between 800 and 1,000 individuals. At approximately 3:30, the incident commander requested additional resources. As yesterday progressed, that crowd grew in size and became unruly. And by 4:45, projectiles were being thrown at officers at Aliso Street and Main Street. A dispersal order was issued in both English and Spanish from our airship, our air unit, our helicopter, and a sound truck. And by 5:30 p.m., additional projectiles were reported near Spring and Aliso, and fireworks were being directed at the officers. In response, our incident commander authorized the use of less lethal munitions, and tactical support elements along with mobile field forces began moving the crowd northbound on Main Street towards Cesar Chavez Avenue. As officers attempted to clear the area, individuals continued to throw objects at them. Throughout the evening, late into last night, officers monitored monitored multiple groups of pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles protesting in the downtown area, particularly along Spring Street, LA Street, Main Street, and Alameda Street. Our partners at CHP maintained a blocking force on the 101 freeway ramps, preventing multiple attempts by protesters to enter the freeway. By 8:30 p.m. last night, two groups of approximately 80 to 100 people remained blocking roadways at Cesar Chavez Avenue and Alameda Street, as well as at Main Street and Temple Street. By 9:30 p.m., one group was moved into the tunnel east of Alameda Street and Cesar Chavez, and then they were contained. This group was eventually released in pairs after being field identified and issued warnings on our officers' body-worn video. No arrests or citations were issued at this culminating event. An incident summary of yesterday's events included two of our officers sustaining minor injuries. We, as far as uses of force, we used 4 rounds of 37 millimeter and 12 rounds of 40 millimeter during the crowd dispersal. And we had 2 reports, one assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer report and one vandalism report for police vehicle damage. The Los Angeles Police Department fully recognizes and respects the rights of individuals to peacefully protest and express their views. However, when demonstrations escalate into unlawful behavior, such as vandalism, violence, and threats to public safety, much like I described, the department will take decisive action to restore our order. Acts that endanger the community or our officers and the city will not be tolerated. The LAPD remains committed to ensuring a safe environment for all, and we will continue to respond appropriately to protect the rights and safety of everyone in Los Angeles. I worked late last night, much like my partner command officers, and I'm extraordinarily proud of the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department and what I saw on television and what I was getting from our incident commander. They've worked tirelessly on the fire response and then transitioned into this event, and was pleased to see the professionalism out there and the pause, if you will. And we're also grateful to the CHP for helping us out to get through what could be described as a tense time yesterday. As far as crimes, for the week ending of February 1st, we've seen an overall decrease in crime across the city. Over the past 4 weeks, from January 5 through February 1st, combined persons and property crimes have declined by 12.7% compared to the prior 4-week period, with persons crimes down 5.9% and property crimes down 14.5%. Year to date, our homicides have decreased by 25% compared to 2024, and victims shot have decreased citywide by 38.7% year to date. It's extraordinary. Aggravated assaults have declined by 11% citywide over the past 4 weeks, and meanwhile, robberies have risen by 6.6% compared to the prior 4-week period. There is no significant pattern or trend identified in the robberies, and they will continue to be monitored. Burglaries have decreased significantly by 33.6% over the last 4 weeks. Residential burglaries are down 32.7%.